make this a rant or just a review? Spider-Man 3. So Spider-Man 3 has the usual cast, only this time it stars Topher Grace and Thomas Hayden Church as the villains. Oh, and it has that one hot chick that plays Gwen Stacy. Yeah, she's hot. So this is a movie that pretty much everyone hates. It's still directed by Sam Raimi. And judging from the beginning, you're probably thinking that I hate this movie, but you know, I kind of like it. I mean, we'll start off with the action, you know, just like the first and second movie, the action is, you know, pretty good. I mean, there was some awesome action with the Sandman and the scene with the new Goblin, which I think is really stupid. And, you know, the end fight is just epic. And plus, Peter Parker, like, turns into this emo, and it's really weird because he's dancing on the streets and hitting on other women. He's just a jerk, and he has the eyeliner on, and he has his hair, like, down here. But a lot of people also complain because there's too many villains, and here's what I think. Sandman's too much like Doc Ock, and he's more like a wannabe of him. Venom doesn't get nearly enough screen time, and New Goblin was useless throughout the entire movie. Now let's go with the New Goblin thing. I can understand why Harry Osborn wants to get revenge on Peter Parker when he finds out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, who basically killed his father. But seriously, do you really have to become a villain? I mean, I know that your dad is like in the mirror like in the first movie and he wants to take control of you, but I don't get it. You'd think he would trick Peter or something and like, you know, coming over saying, "Hey, we gotta talk, buddy," and then he just beats him up. It's like, come on, do you really have to make him a villain? And he had one scene as the New Goblin. He was also just an excuse to have him on the board and stuff in the climax. However, I did like that there were pumpkin bombs this time around. But who cares? And Peter Parker's like a crybaby because she's sad. And Mary Jane, goodbye. So I guess this is a rant and a review. Well, that's okay, right? And the Venom symbiote isn't explained at all. It's just used to have a black Spider-Man, you know, a gimmick. And although it is Sam Raimi's fault, I don't really blame him that much. It's actually more the studio's fault because the fans wanted Venom and he didn't want to do Venom. He was probably going to wait for Spider-Man 4 to bring in Carnage and do something really cool. But no, the studios just had to bring Venom in, so he gives him 15 minutes of screen time and casts Topher Grace. And there's too much revenge in this movie. It's like, you know, with the Sandman, apparently the Sandman's the one who killed Uncle Ben, so now Spider-Man wants revenge on him. And James Franco, or Harry Osborn, wants revenge on Peter Parker. And Topher Grace, or Eddie Brock, wants revenge on Peter Parker too. It's like too much revenge, too much revenge, too much revenge. And it doesn't even have much continuity to go with the first movie because of Sandman killing Uncle Ben. And apparently this butler dude, who only had like 1 minute of screen time throughout the entire saga, tells Harry Osborn that the, Willem Dafoe, the Green Goblin, the scary Power Ranger, killed himself or something like that. I don't even know. I like this movie. I saw this on IMAX or something like that. It was a humongous screen and it was one of the best theater experiences of my life. I just sounded like the bum there for a sec. This is the best movie I've seen in my life. Okay, no, I don't sound like the bum. I mean, yeah, there's the dancing emo Peter Parker and all the plot holes and all the villains and stuff, but you know what? Stop nitpicking. This is not that bad of a movie, and I feel like people are a little bit too hard on it. Not saying it's underrated, just saying people are a little rough on it. If you just watch it for what it is, not as a sequel to the first two films, but just like Batman, the 1989 Batman, you know, they didn't give him an introduction, they just put Batman in the movie. He just comes out and he says, "I'm Batman." "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." And you know what? This film is a little bit like Batman Robin. You know how? Well, I found out from a guy named Erod the Blockbuster Buster, and he did a review of Spider-Man 3, more like a No, not really rant, because it's Evil Lee. You know who he is if you watch his videos. He was the one that pointed out that Spider-Man 3 is like Batman and Robin, if you would, which is considered to be one of the worst comic book movies, or worst movies for that matter, of all time. How did I bring that up? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just don't look at it as a sequel, even though it's called Spider-Man 3. Just watch it. Just don't be critical about it, and you might like it. You might enjoy it. So let's just get to the rating. This one's going to be different from my usual stupid rating system. Spider-Man 3 deserves to have like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, well that wraps up the Spider-Man trilogy. I'm going to see The Amazing Spider-Man now, and hopefully it gets that bad taste of hatred for Spider-Man 3 out of my mouth. Goodbye.